Well, at this point it's just me in the car. I got to say goodbye to my friends and family. Got to see nearly everybody. But at this point it's just getting on the highway and seeing what happens. We went ahead and took a little extra time earlier today, and what we did was we went through, lifted the car, checked all the suspension, checked all the bolts the second time, found a few little loose ends, and then we also did kind of just a quick garage alignment to just get everything nice and settled. And the steering feels a lot better now. But now it's just the car and the highway. I'm gonna try to take it easy, and well, we'll see what happens. She's been running pretty good. I've taken her 180 miles since we got her going, just around town and off and on highway a bit. So now we just cross our fingers and try to not be as nervous as I feel right now. So that's 1,300 miles. Let's get to driving. Alright, we got our first pit stop. We have reached Kansas. I decided just to pull off, had to use the restroom and top off the fuel. So far so good. And it looks like our fuel gauge has decided to start working again. So at least I can keep track of fuel again. Other than that, it's been driving pretty good. The small alignment we did in the garage has really helped. It stays straight on the highway. It's really comfortable. Footwell gets a little warm, and the Kansas bugs have already taken their toll. They're just already strung up in the poor intercooler, so it's beautiful. But so far it's nice and cool out. Not really that hot at night, but so far so good. So we're topped off and I'm just going to keep going, and nothing has jumped out at being off or bad. Been enjoying it. Been having to drive it like 65 because about 70 we get over about 3K, and engine likes to build some load and the turbo likes to start spooling up about 70. So once we get to like Colorado where the speed limit's 75, 80, that'll be interesting. We'll probably have a lot of people well, just flying by us, but about all I can do without staying under load. So let's continue. Oh, in Colorado finally. Lyman filling up at a very, very slow fuel tank. It's going really slow, but still no real issues. Might have found a boost leak somewhere. RFRs have gone up just a little bit, but it doesn't really seem to affect cruise. Just cruising speeds. Something to keep an eye on. Checked oil last time I stopped. Oil was good. So we'll get this hopefully pumping done in the next hour and continue on. Be going past Denver soon. It's actually a little quiet in here now. Hello! On this video, we are going to be following the process of me painting the car, start to finish hopefully. And we'll just do a quick overview of where we're currently at. So obviously we start with disassembly. And I saved the door handles for the very last, but we got the bumpers off here, the side skirts, door garnishes, and door caps. And of course the hood latches and lights came later. I did not win on any of these. I'm gonna have to drill them all out. Just did not want to come out. Every single one broke. We marked out some of our trouble spots. Of course, the big dent up here. And then this whole door, it's hard to see, but it's like rippled. And it's obviously been repainted before. They didn't even go all the way down with the paint. And then we got a nice dig right here. Rust spot right here where water is obviously settled. I know Tyler will recognize that one. Got a small ripple right here. A couple more dents. Ricky. And just some more dents. The usual. Where you going, Ricky? Where you going? So before you do any kind of sanding or grinding, especially anywhere near glass or seals, definitely want to put on a layer of tape. And learn from me to watch when you're sanding. But metal stripped down, and we'll move on to using the stud puller with a slide hammer. But further on, I mostly just used a spot weld puller for the rest of my dents and body issues, because it's just a lot more quicker and easier. So as I was sanding, I was fixing panels, but grinding down to the metal took like 2.5 weeks just get down to metal. So here is usually how I would go about fixing all the dents and imperfections. Of course, you want to sand down, get any paint, anything away. I used 80 grit, I do believe. Then, of course, I brought in the spot weld puller, which is kind of like a slide hammer, and it just does these quick little spot welds so you can just pull them out really quick. Of course, filling the damage every time just to see where you're at, readjusting, doing another pull. It's pretty simple stuff. Then after we're done adjusting with the spot weld puller, we'll bring in a grinder and just take down those high spots that were created by pulling on the metal. And then afterwards, I'll bring in just the regular sander and sand it uniform with the rest of the parent metal. So it's probably at the end about a week and a half. We're getting really down, and then this will probably be week 2. Then we tossed around the lift. I fixed the pinch welds underneath the car, and then started on my Bondo work, which takes a lot of time, but it was a lot of good practice. So back on the ground, really hitting that Bondo, getting really used to it at this point. The driver's side door obviously gave me a lot of issues, but for the most part, the rest of the body wasn't too bad at this point, as far as I could find. And then I believe this was after a 220 pass to make all the metal uniform before we get ready for primer. And of course, I tried a little too hard, so I did once again another pass with 220 just to make sure everything was uniform. Hence the nice shininess to it in the end. So about 2-3 weeks ago, we got back from Arkansas and we started with how you've always seen my car, with the paint just failing and the discolored Talon side skirts at this point. And I basically just jumped right into it, got to work. If you've been following Instagram or the Facebook group BuildBoostDrive, I've just been doing kind of daily, weekly updates on there. And we decided, seeing that it had been repainted in some spots and on basically one side of the car, that would be best just to take it all off. So we went down to metal. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We got down the metal. I've taken care of the dents. I've been working on those. And then of course Bondo over any of the imperfections at this point. And now we are to where we are today, which is going to start getting it ready to be taped, and it'll be on to etching primer and then filler primer. And then of course we're going to block it again, smooth it out, and then it'll be on to the fun color part. So that's where we're at this point. Alright, she's all taped, wrapped up, ready for primer. We just got to get her in the bay, get her wiped down with wax and grease remover, and start priming. Should be one color again. So we've got Peter in the booth with me to learn from my mistakes. The gold coat you see is the etching primer, which just prepares the metal to accept the primer. And then we went over the Bondo spots first with a quick pass of the P27 black primer. Then after I was done with this coat, you wait about 10-15 minutes, and then you move on to your full coats over the entire car. It's nice to see it in one color. So we got it primered using this black shiny primer. Quite like it. I've already started scuffing on it. What's nifty about it is we can see all our little low spots and imperfections. It's pretty neat. High spot, low, low. Definitely low. So I'll just keep scuffing till we can find all our trouble areas and hit it with some more primer and some glazing putty to fill in any small imperfections. Nice. This is kind of just a quick gloss over pass that I like to do just to see if there's anything that really stands out that I can concentrate on as I go. Sorry, got a low spot right there. There's like maybe one right here as well. This door's been the trouble child, so let's see what she's hiding. Oh, she was hiding quite a bit. Got a lot of work. So we really dug into the driver's side door. I've gone over it multiple times and dug into it some more just to really fill out the shape, and I think I finally got it to where I needed to after the glazing putty in this shot. Okay, welcome to day 34. They said they'd stop feeding us unless they saw progress, so no more Twinkies. I'm not sure what that's about. So we're gonna get this primered, just the trouble spots, and then we'll scuff it down. So as we can see, we just primered over the glazing putty fixes that we did. And then, as you'll see later, all we did was sanding them down and kind of made them uniform with the level of the rest of the primer. You can see the outlines of where we sanded them down. And this was the final primer. Thank goodness. So it was a final full prime, 2 coats, and from there I didn't waste any time. Bring out the 400 grit sandpaper, go over the entire car again, smooth it out, and then a quick pass with a DA sander with 600 grit sandpaper just to really fine tune those scratches. And what we're left with is what you see, a car that's ready for sealer, base, and clear. Then I gave her a nice wash down. It also gives you an idea of how smooth it should look once you get your base and clear on. So it's a good chance to look for any last minute imperfections. Boy, that carbon fiber looks good underwater. I wish I could just keep it as it is, but it'll be the same color as the rest of the car. And we are debadging the bumper, just like a smooth finish and not the triangle on this replacement bumper, so I went ahead and filled that with plastic filler and then glazing putty to finish. So I think that'll look and turn out really nice. I used a vice grip. To get some of these out, and it worked really well. But a few of them I had to drill out and tap. But they're all usable now, at least. So that's done. So this door cap was missing that clip holder, so I used that clip holder. Made it out of cardboard into that, so now that will fit there with some panel bond, and then boop. Yay. So today we're working on the trim. Let's see if I can't do something about this hole, or at least add some rigidity back to it. We got some cracks in this one, and then this clip is jiggly. This clip is jiggly. And then we got a crack right here. I think that's about it. Of course, we fixed this. Nothing wrong with that one. And there was nothing wrong with the door skirts, so we'll just have to sand them and get them ready. So after 2 months and all that work, we're left with a prep car, prep rear bumper, front bumper, side skirts, side garnishes, door caps. They're all fixed. We've panel bonded the cracks. We've done everything at this point, and when we go back to school next week, well, I gotta sand those. So there you have it. Just 2 months of just solid everyday work. I get 6 hours a day at school, and I've been trying to use it as wisely as possible. But we got this week off, so I thought with all the footage and stuff that I've done so far, I'd just throw this first part together, and then the second part will be hopefully the good stuff. I'm excited to see the car as one color. I'm still trying to decide what exactly will be the final color of the car, but I've got it down to kind of like 5 choices, all the same hues, but there's just slight variances in all of them between flake size, pearl, what have you. But I appreciate it if you've made it this far into the video, saw to the end, seen how much work goes into a paint job. Hopefully I've shown how much work it does take. I really wish I could have done some better videoing, but I was so excited to just work on it every day, and I'm still excited to get it done. And like I said, after we get it done, we can enjoy the car a while I shoot video for putting the engine together, which I'll be starting very soon. So stay tuned, and appreciate y'all. And I hope your projects are going well, and everybody, you have a good day. Later.